Welcome to Spokane Business at Spokane Talks. I'm Cindy Donahue, and I'm joined by Tara Arndt of the School of Email. Welcome.
Thank you, Cindy.
I'm so glad to see you. So other people wouldn't know this, but you are my email marketing teacher.
That's right.
So I've learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
Why did you decide to start School of Email?
I started School of Email to help fitness and nutrition professionals use email to scale their businesses.
So to really grow.
To really grow, because as you know, personal trainers and nutrition professionals are limited to how many hours they have in a day to serve clients in person. And so to really grow, once they take their business online, they need an email list to reach their audience and to sell more.
And that applies to any business. I mean, it could be personal training, it could be a small business, it could be any business.
Any business.
And you really have to use your email marketing wisely.
You do, yes.
Yeah. And so what is the biggest mistake that people make, you think, or when they're doing email marketing?
The biggest mistake is not being consistent. And so I think a lot of businesses start out and they're really excited about their email list, and then, you know, like anything, it takes work, and if you don't show up, but you only show up to sell, that's when things start to fall apart for your subscribers, end of things. So really, it's all about being consistent.
So consistent, but also not always selling, because you just mentioned that.
Right. So really having a foundation of serving your audience, and if your email list is rooted in helping your audience and giving them value, then you'll do well with email.
So giving them advice about whatever it is that your business is about.
Correct.
Okay.
So say if someone's new to your business, then maybe they don't know a lot about you, you can use email to onboard them, to educate them, to show them why they should work with you over someone else. And so it's really about showing up, adding value, and being top of mind. So when they do have that need, if you've served them and you've shown up consistently, then you're the person that they think of, you're the business that they think of when they want to when they have that need that they need help with.
So it's educating them and not always asking for a sale.
Right.
So varying the emails
Exactly.
and then not going too often and not being consistent enough.
Right, exactly. So if you think about when you have a garden and you start out, right, and so you have brand new plants, if you only show up and water them once, they're not going to go anywhere, right? But if you show up consistent and you constantly water them and you give them what they need, then over time, you've developed a really good relationship, and then your plants grow and bloom.
So those are the things we should be doing with email marketing.
Yes.
Yeah, and I love this analogy. We've talked about this before, but this analogy of you plant the seeds,
Yep.
which is be educating, I guess, or using your email marketing for other reasons than
Exactly.
selling, and
Yeah.
then growing your audience. So tell me more about. I love that analogy of the gardening.
So if you think about a garden, there's important things. So the first thing is being consistent, right? So showing up, watering your garden. So with email, be consistent. That's like the number one thing you can do. And then the next thing is always growing your list, right? So always be looking for ways to add new subscribers, to get your customers on your email list. So really taking them from social media and getting them on your email list, because once they're on your email list, then you're not at the mercy of algorithms to reach them. And so if you think about that in respect to a garden, again, it goes back to you want to grow your garden, right? You just don't want to do all that work of planting and then not have the outcome of growing it.
No blooming.
Right. And then the other thing is understanding who's on your list. So if we think about the top three things being consistent, number one, number two, always growing, and then number three, understanding who's on your list. And really, you can get into the weeds of deep segmentation, but most people don't need that. All you really need to know are your customers from your prospects. And so if you think of that in terms of a garden, when you have a garden, you have certain plants that maybe need more sunlight than others. Maybe some plants need heavy watering and some don't. So when you think about that in terms of your audience, you know what your customers need, and then you know what your new prospects or your new leads need. And so you can use your email list to serve those two different groups. And then it also allows you to really personalize your messaging when you do send your emails. So you're not just sending one mass email, but you're able to talk to your customers different than you'll talk to your new leads or new people.
So people that buy from you are the customers. They bloom, right?
Yep.
They're always blooming, and you keep them blooming,
Yes.
right? Give them food. And then people who are new to your list or prospects, kind of converting them from being a seedling into blooming,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And this is why I love this analogy. It totally works. And then what about in terms of growing your list? So social media, how would you convert someone from, let's say, that sees you on social media? How would a business owner get them to become part of their email list?
The best strategy and tried and true strategy is to have what's called a lead magnet. So something of value that you give them in exchange for joining your list. So this might be like my top 3 tips for gut health and getting rid of bloat in a week. So something really specific that your business serves that would help someone that's new get a quick win and really, gives them something of value in exchange for getting on your email list.
And then we've talked about weeding to continue with our analogy. So
Yeah.
tell me more about email marketing in terms of weeding.
Okay, well, so let's say you've been building your email list for a while. You've been, showing up. You've been consistent. Well, over time, you're going to have some subscribers that maybe are no longer opening your emails. It happens. And so if you think of that in terms of a garden, over time, not everything blooms, not everything grows. You have to go in and kind of pick out the weeds. And so the same is true with your email list. Over time, so say it's been like 6 months to a year, you really need to look at who's no longer opening your emails and weed them. And so cleaning your list is a big factor of being successful with email.
So email marketing basically is like gardening. I mean, this analogy could just keep
Yeah.
going. I love that analogy. And so what kinds of email marketing tools do most of your clients work with, or what do businesses typically use, or what can they use to do email marketing that's easy to use?
So the most probably popular email tool is MailChimp. You can start for free with that. It usually integrates with a lot of websites without needing a developer, which is really important when you're a small business and maybe you don't have the ability to hire somebody. Another really good one is called ConvertKit, and they just came out with a free platform, and it works really well for getting in and getting set up really easy. It doesn't take a lot of tech knowledge. And then if you're a growing business and you have a team that can maybe help and serve you with and do your emails for you, ActiveCampaign is a great email tool to consider.
And is that Constant Contact one as well?
Constant Contact is one as well, yes.
Okay, but so MailChimp is what I use in my business, and that's what we've talked about. And the reason I like it is that you can build your email content and your list is all in one.
Yes.
So I use mine as a database as well to be able to pull things out. So it's kind of an all-in-one tool.
Yes, and a lot of people do that. So they'll use their email tool as kind of their CRM. So being able to look up someone quickly and find their contact information.
Yeah, it's very handy. And so if somebody didn't know about School of Email or they needed email marketing help, how would they find you, or what do you do for business owners?
So to find me, I'm schoolofemail.com. I have a free guide. So if you sign up on my email list, I send out a lot of free content and tips and tools. And the main thing I do with small businesses and the clients I work with is simplify email for them and make them feel confident with their tool. Because like we talked about, if you're not consistent and you're not sending emails and you're not comfortable getting in your tool and doing that, then you won't be successful with email.
It is kind of scary. I mean, you build something, it's going to go to 1,000
Yes.
people when I push this button right now. I mean, it is hard to overcome that and making sure that you have segmented properly and that you're sending the right email.
Right.
So, but once you get over that, I mean, you really helped me a lot. I mean, I knew nothing really about doing email marketing before I met you, and so you've made a huge difference in my work life. So.
Oh, well, thank you, and you've done great. I just got your recent newsletter, and it was fabulous.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming on Spokane Business. I'm hoping that this helps other business owners in Spokane. What would you think is the reason to do business here? As like a business that helps other businesses, why do you think people should be in Spokane?
Oh, so I moved here, it's probably been 10 years ago. And from moving here, from the time we first moved here and now, there's just a sense of community in Spokane that it feels like a small town, like where people are really invested in you doing well in your business. And I found that across all different industries with all the clients that I've worked with in town. And I would just say that when you have a business here, it feels like you have a team, supporting you from other small businesses.
Well, I'm glad you're in our community. So thank you again for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
My grandfather started the company in 1919 here in Spokane, Washington. I'm the third generation of the company. I really love the people and I like the challenge. With concrete, there's always a challenge and there's a timing issue, so fast and furious is good for me. Millions of yards of concrete and millions of hours of labor. We've been on a steady growth curve for a while now and we want to continue that. You can expect another 100 years from the William Winkler Company. Well, we have a great group of about 150 people and 100 years strong, and we got there by caring for each other and caring for common goals. And STCU, when they came in, they rode right alongside us. Their core values are similar to ours, and they really treat us like family. It's a real win-win for us. With the help of STCU, we've been able to finance and build this building. We couldn't have done it without the good people and partners like STCU.